Hey everybody, it's your boy Carlos here.
And Joseph.
And welcome to
The Passenger Seat.
Can't help it. I always do that.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, so this is our second episode for the year of 2021.
Woo! 2021. So far, so good. Nothing.
It's been a week.
It's been a week. It hasn't been like the first week of 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
World War III.
Well, yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember that. But we're not going to try to get political here on this channel. Today, we're actually going to touch upon something that we haven't touched upon in a while, and that is the world of comic books. Specifically, our favorite superheroes of the DC genre. Mm-hmm. So, as you can see by our table, it's Aquaman and The Flash. Yeah, so we thought we'd just, talk about a little bit about the character in general of why we like them so much. And then we'll talk about a specific storyline that we chose for these characters that we found interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start?
Yeah, I can start off. I think I fell in love even more with The Flash when I watched the CW series. Mm-hmm. And that I sort of started getting more into it, and I really like all of the Flash's abilities, because people, when they look at the Flash from like an outer perspective, you sort of think of him as like, oh well, he can run really fast. Yeah, and then that's it. And there's a lot more to the Flash than that. I think if you think maybe of like Jay Garrett, you sort of...
Hey, Jay Garrett's my favorite Flash.
Yeah, but Jay Garrett is more of that,
Yeah, I get it.
He's actually true to like what you off the dome think what a speedster would be. Yeah. When it comes to Barry Allen and Wally West takes it even one step further. They come up with these crazy abilities or crazy things that they can do with they push the limits of what a speedster can do, including traveling through time and phasing through mass, because they can move their particles at such an accelerated speed they can phase through objects. That has a lot to do with the writing as well. I think writers just have been upping their game ever since comics started. So yeah, that's those are the reasons why I really like the Flash. I think he has one of the coolest costumes in that array of DC characters and in the Justice League in general. So yeah, those are my reasons. All right, so I'll just go to my reasons, and then we'll probably just go to your comic story. Mm-hmm. My reasonings for liking Aquaman. Funny enough, when I was a young kid, I actually started out liking Superman. I was always that guy who was like, as a kid, for some reason your mind always goes to Batman or Superman. Mm-hmm. So I was like always Superman until Smallville came in. I saw Aquaman in Smallville. I don't know if any of you remember that show. And from that point on, I started getting really interested in him, especially coming from an island myself. I was really interested in that ability. And I know a lot of people ridiculed him, so I also liked the fact that it was unique to like him. He was like an underdog character. Yeah, because he was the underdog and no one else did. Mm. And I'm so glad I stuck with him, because he's such an amazing character. His abilities, people don't realize this, but he is one of the strongest members of the Justice League team. As you could tell from that the Flashpoint story, that he actually can like create a whole war if he wanted to, because what covers the earth more, which is basically water. So if you think about it, he's like mainland king of almost the earth. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. So, and then it kept getting more popular, and then obviously like Jason Momoa came along, and now his popularity boosted, and no one thinks he's lame. I hope. Hopefully. I think like people who haven't done a deep dive to Aquaman, or like people who are aren't like old school comic book fans. Yeah. They, people who are new to Aquaman are gonna think that Aquaman is cool because of the way that they perceive him now. Yes, exactly. Which that movie did help out a lot. Yeah. Honestly, it did. But people who are old school probably are just like, oh, Aquaman. I think it was that stupid Super Friends show that didn't really help out when he was riding the dolphin. Was it a dolphin? It was the seahorse, and it was pink. Oh, it was a seahorse. That's right. All right.
Yeah, he did the thing, and then he thought, and you know what didn't help? I think was Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken made fun of him a lot.
Parodies, yeah.
Why don't you talk to me? I'm Aquaman. He's talking to the goldfish. Anyways, we'll just go ahead and go to the storylines now and see how interesting they are, I guess.
Yeah, right. So, as most of you maybe assumed, if you thought I was going with the Flashpoint Paradox story, I'm actually not. Even though this sort of ties into Flashpoint, it's not Flashpoint itself. I'm actually going to be talking about the storyline of the Button right here. I'm going to pull this up as carefully as I can. See if I can show off that reflectiveness.
I think it's showing. Hopefully.
If not, I'll just show the back with Reverse Flash over here.
That being said, though, please read Flashpoint. Amazing storyline.
We'll just get more into the Flash. I feel like the more people that find other characters who aren't Supes or Batman. It's always
too many Super and Batman movies.
Yeah. The writers of The Button are Joshua Williamson and Tom King. The artists are going to be Jason Fabok and Howard Porter. And the story pretty much revolves around Batman finding the Button, if some of y'all recognize that from The Watchmen. He finds this mysterious button, and he doesn't know where it came from. And he pretty much tries to get help from the Flash to figure out, what's going on. While waiting for the Flash to come around the Batcave to help him figure it out, he's actually confronted by Reverse Flash, or Eobard Thawne. And pretty much Eobard beats the crap out of Batman, steals the button, and when he takes the button, he's teleported away somewhere else. And when he comes back, he's pretty much mutilated.
You might have just hurt a lot of Batman fans with that. He beat the crap out of Batman.
He did, though. Anyways, so Reverse Flash comes back pretty much mutilated. He's pretty much, at the brink of dying. And he describes an impending threat, which he refers to as God. And then he dies. So
you guys can already imagine. I assume that you guys can already imagine who they're talking about, but...
Well, yeah. But anyways, basically, the Flash arrives to the Batcave, finds Batman all beat up. He then, he finds, he sees Reverse Flash, right? Mm-hmm. The corpse, pretty much, because he's dead by then. And that's when the whole, story starts where they try to figure out, what's going on. Mm-hmm. Flash sets up on the cosmic treadmill. And they actually end up in sort of a time storm, traveling through the cosmic treadmill, and they end up in Flashpoint, where they meet with Thomas Wayne.
Be a good time to read it, guys.
Yeah. So they meet up with Thomas Wayne, who explains that Flashpoint was never erased like the Flash intended. Basically they get thrown back in the search for answers, and ultimately I just don't want to spoil it for people.
Oh, you want them to actually... Oh, I got you. I get you.
Ultimately, at the very end of it, they introduce... Let's just put it that way. They introduce one of the characters. Or, I guess... They introduce the Watchmen. They introduced the Watchmen into the DC universe.
Which is something that people have been wanting for a long time, because Watchmen is such a big graphic novel.
Yeah. So that was that's pretty much the storyline. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers because I do want our viewers to go ahead and want to read these comics.
Yeah, and I would recommend, especially for this storyline, you kind of need to read Flashpoint, or you're not going to understand what's going on. As soon as you see Thomas Wayne, you're going to be like, what?
Flashpoint plays a big part in the Flash, so definitely something to check out.
Definitely. So the story arc I'm going to talk about today for Aquaman is not as big as the story arc that's going on with the Button, which... Did it end already?
It did. Okay. Yeah, 2017.
It ended.
It's pretty old.
The story arc I'm going to talk about is The Trench, which is basically from volume... it's volume 7. It's issues 1 to 6 or 7. I don't remember by memory now. And it is the start of the New 52 when that whole thing, that whole genre started, and then they wanted to revamp everything and create new storylines and change how the characters are perceived. So this was created by Geoff Johns and Ivan Reis. I think Ivan Reis was the illustrator and Geoff Johns was the writer. So this comic actually starts off with Aquaman living or residing in Boston next to the marina. The funny part about the start of this comic is that he's at a restaurant. It's not really a spoiler, it's just a funny thing that they wanted to put there because they wanted to revamp his character. And he's in there and he orders a fish, and another customer's like, I thought you talked to fish. And he was like, I don't, like, he gets up and he's like, I don't talk to fish. And he's like menacing and stuff. It was just like a whole pick at the making fun of him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they wanted to like back that, you know, like, oh, he's not that guy anymore. Mira, she comes out of the ocean and meets up with him at the restaurant and explains to him that he needs to come back to Atlantis. But by this storyline, he doesn't want to go back to Atlantis. He wants to reside in on land with Mira to make a better view of Atlanteans for the humans. So they talk a lot and whatever. And then at night, the marina gets attacked by a mysterious threat. So what do the humans do? They call Aquaman, even though they were making fun of him. So, you know.
Okay, they're giving him a reason to...
F them. So, he goes and investigates because no matter what they say to him, he's always going to help them out. He's a hero like that. And they discover that it was done by some creatures, the unknown creatures from the underwater depths. They go to investigate, which sounds really creepy because if you read the comic, it's like they're pitch black darkness. That's the only way they survive. They took a couple hostages with them. As soon as Mira and Aquaman go down there, they're introduced to another new seventh kingdom, which is like the kingdom of the trench, which is some underwater creatures who basically have not evolved, or I think it was if they did evolve, they evolved into savages, and they were taking hostages because they wanted to. Well, I'll let you guys read that part why they took the hostages. Essentially, Aquaman is stuck between a decision of saving a dying race, because essentially that's what was happening, or basically letting them go free, and he couldn't let them go free because they're savages and they had no control. So he ends up saving the day. I won't tell you how. And I think the best part for me on this storyline is when he goes back to the surface and saves the marina, all the humans and people are like, you know, Aquaman's like the best. And, you know, this was the point of this story arc, was for people to see that he actually is a badass, which I don't remember if you remember the movie Aquaman in 2018. They actually took the trench and they put it in the movie. Yeah. The creatures in the dark. Yeah. This is not really a spoiler, just another funny thing. At the end, a cop goes, hey, this dog's owners were eating whatever. We don't know what to do with him, so Aquaman and Mira adopt him and call him Aquadog.
Nice little tidbit.
Yeah, dumb name though. Yeah. I even have to admit that's a dumb name for a dog. Hey, Aquadog. But yeah, really good story arc, because that story arc really started the whole trend of Aquaman being a little bit more badass, so people can get more on top of his stories and stuff.
Cool. Well, yeah, hopefully you guys, you know, take our suggestions to heart and, you know, feel a little bit more motivated to, you know, open up a comic book, take a read.
Definitely.
You know, learn a little more about these other DC characters. You know, if you're super into Superman or super into Batman.
True.
And you haven't diversified a little bit on your superhero spectrum, or maybe you were a fan of Marvel this whole time and you wanted to get into DC. Definitely some things you can check out. And
I think also from the beginning when we mentioned the fact that these two characters were back then perceived as very little, like he can only run fast and he can only talk to fish. Open up some comic books about Aquaman The Flash and you guys will see that they're actually really incredible characters.
Yep, for sure. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this ride with us, and hopefully you'll take a ride with us next time here in The Passenger Seat.